That's a sweet cutting little tool. You hadn't seen one like this in the hardware store, have you, or the catalogs? Nope, because it's one you can make. I have to be high on this. This is not going to be cheap. I think it's going to cost you $4. Really is. Let me show you. In fact, if you want to see one, all you got to do is watch. Let's start off with the blade. The blade is a Sawzall blade. This one is a metal cutting. They call bimetal. It was made by DeWalt. It was yellow when I got it from the years ago when I had a construction company, and I bought a bunch of them to do the seats in Tiger Stadium. Long story short, I had them left over. But they were slightly dull. And I'm the kind of guy to where I'll save a dull blade. I don't know why. But it was a bimetal blade. Bimetal means it's two different metals put together, and it'll cut all kinds of stuff, but it's not a steel cutting blade. Well, essentially it'll cut some, but won't continue to do it all day long. But let's jump over that, all right? Let's go to DeWalt and get a fire and rescue blade. It's a little bit wider, got a better hook on it, and doesn't take as much reshaping. Now what you have to do is take it over to your belt sander and take the teeth off. And don't go right down the center of it. Put it off on the edge a little bit. Or take your offset grinder, put it in a vise and knock the teeth off. But you're going to eventually want to get it nice and flat on the bottom. That's the blade. Now, the handle, I chose to use some of this deckwood stuff. I bought it to do some Freedom pens, to make them as tough as the troops really are. Yeah, and that was a fun thing, and I made hundreds of them like that. But I had a couple of blocks left over, so I sliced it in half. And oh yeah, by the way, you need to make a list for the hardware store. You need 4 binding posts. That's what these things are called. When I was a kid, we called it a saw screw, because they had hand saws and you had screws to go through them and they pulled down. But you try to explain what a saw screw is to a guy in the hardware store nowadays, and unless he's our age, ooh. Okay, binding post. You can find them in one of those displays that's got 1,000,003 parts, all in little cabinets and all. All right. So we got your blade, we shaped your blade up. Then we picked out the handles. To make it fit good, because I got big fat hands, I made them 5/16 inch thick. 5/16 by 1.5 by 6. Now, take your favorite parting tool. I got mine right here. See that? I wasn't gone but about half an hour. That's my favorite parting tool, made by Chris Stott or somebody like it. And it had a wood handle, and it's got these rivets that are mauled together, but you got to buy hundreds of those to get them a good deal. All right, but I want to do the same kind of handle. Voila! How you like that voila stuff, huh? Okay, so I cut my handles out 5/16 thick, made them shoot to a flat. My next one's going to be out of Cocobolo. I just found this blade. There'll be a Cocobolo handle around that one. Okay, get back to it. Made it out of the deck wood. Then I laid out the blade. All right, hold on. Got to get your handle all shaped up. Shape the whole thing up. All right, and then tape it around, make it one block. Lay your handle on top and mark the outline of your handle. And then you want to drill holes directly on the outline. You want about 4 holes in this thing. I don't want you to drill a hole through the blade. It takes a special bit to get through this. Why fool around? Now that we got the holes drilled and we got the handle shaped, we're going to open it up, put our binding post in, and we're going to set the blade on top. And we're going to mark where we need to grind a spot on our big bench grinder, a little notch to fit around the binding post. Can't be any simple. I put a little blue tape on the binding post so I could take it over to the grinder and and just notched it where it could be. All right. Then I cleaned up the whole handle. Put it in, tightened it down with binding post, lined up the ends, resanded it, cleaned it up, and made sure it felt really good in my hands. That's it. Oh, what happened to the yellow paint? I took my propane torch on low and just got it hot enough that the paint would melt. About 300 degrees is all it took, I guess. Okay, I didn't make it hot enough to take the temper out. But I did that, and then I took wet paper and I sanded it with some wet paper to clean it up, take the high points off. Then I took it to the grinder and I put a little sharp corner on the front of it, just like my Scott. So now, there you have it. I have a 1/16" blade parting tool that I made for about $4. Now, can you beat that? With that move, I just got off Chris Stott's Christmas list for next year. But why would you want to go spend $39, $49, $59? I don't know. When you can make it for under $9. Get out in the shop, try it. Oh, I got a couple other tools. There's nobody going to love me when this is all over with. Oh yeah, by the way, I'm Captain Eddie Castellan. I'm making shavings. Watch this. Making shavings. You like that, huh? All right. Be safe. Oh, if you need me or you want to copy my tips, and they're always changing. So if there's a particular one you want besides the tips package, make sure you mention that in the email to, watch this address. Yes. You send me an email to this address, and I'll go ahead and send you a copy of the tips. And if you ever needed me for a reason, just go ahead and get in touch with me it'll be back. That address again. I'm Captain Eddie. Be safe. Shave and haircut, 2 bits. Hey, just when you thought it was safe, we're not done yet. I told you that I found that blade and I liked it. Take a look at this. It's a piece of Cocobolo with a little bit of sapwood on it. Yeah, and look at that blade. Now, think about this for a minute. This is a 1/2 inch longer than the handled Stott that I started with, okay? The blade's the same thickness, a little bit wider, 1/4 inch wider. The thickness of the blade, the Stott is a 1.55 millimeter. This is a 1.44 millimeter. Now that looks good. It really does. I set the screws down in the handle. I did a little countersink with a Forstner bit, 7/16 Forstner. You don't have one of those. I had to make it. Yeah, you can do that. I'll show you one day. But I set them in there a little bit so that they're flush. Then I sanded the whole thing out. I put the first coat of lacquer on it, but I'm going to beef it up a little bit, polish it out a little more. I see a couple of sand marks on it. You know, you get into these things, you just got to keep going. All right, you want the blade? Here it is. The blade is a Fire and Rescue DW for DeWalt DW4865. Look, here it is right here. There's the number. DW4865. I think you're going to like this. I really do. I think you're going to like it so much that tonight I'm going to lock the door when I leave. Leave my stuff alone. Go out in the shop and make your own. I mean it. Go out in the shop and make your own. Bye. Be safe.